A powerful storm system is coming to the United States here over the next few days, and this is going to bring severe weather in the form of damaging winds, large to very large hail, and tornadoes, in addition to some very heavy rainfall, which could cause flash flooding. We're going to talk about that, your tropical weather update, your rip current risk, and your fire weather risk in this forecast. So if you are here, and if you have not watched any of my videos before, make sure to subscribe to my channel. We do daily weather forecast breakdowns and everything that you need to know about weather here on this channel, and a lot of other weather YouTubers don't do. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, family member on social media. If you have any comments, questions, and concerns, make sure to jot them down in the comment section down below this video. Let's look at our severe weather risk today. There is a level 3 out of 5, an enhanced risk in orange from portions of Michigan all the way down into Indiana, western Ohio, eastern Illinois, into western Kentucky, and southeast Missouri here. So we have multiple states in the risk of some significant severe weather heading into this afternoon and evening. In the yellow, that is a 2 out of 5 slight risk that extends from central Michigan all the way back down here into Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma, and north Texas. So a lot of big cities in the middle of this severe weather today: Chicago, Indianapolis, Detroit, Cincinnati, and Louisville, all the way back down into Paducah, Nashville, Little Rock, Memphis, and even the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So a lot of big cities and millions of people in the risk of severe weather. And we could be seeing damaging winds over 70 miles per hour with some of the strongest storms here, especially in this cherry red color here, encompassing all of Indiana, southern Michigan, western Ohio, again back here into eastern Illinois, western Kentucky, and southeastern Missouri. And then we look at the hail risk. It's a little bit stronger of a hail risk in yellow here, further to the south and west. That's just where the stronger instability will be. That's where you're going to be seeing those quarter and even $50, maybe even golf ball size hailstones as we head through the afternoon and evening. And there is a formidable tornado risk. It's up here into the northwest Ohio Valley, stretching back into central Illinois. We have the 5% chance of tornadoes in brown, and in the green, that is a 2% chance of tornadoes, and that's as far north as central Michigan there. So Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, and Lansing, you guys are all included in that. That extends down into Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, and Clarksville, all the way back here into the Red River Valley, just areas north of DFW and south and east of Oklahoma City. So let's look at why we're seeing this. We have an MCV. This is a mesoscale convective vortex. This is like a mini low pressure system here on more of a mesoscale versus the global scale, which you guys look for is for, bigger low pressure systems. This is a system that brought a lot of severe weather to the Central Plains last night. It's continuing to bring kind of a little bit of spin across the Illinois Valley here at midday Wednesday today. It's going to continue to track northeast into southern Lake Michigan and over the state of Michigan as we head into the afternoon. And as it intercepts a lot of the storm energy, right? We're seeing storm energy 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. That is really going to make those thunderstorms take off and become severe. So damaging winds, large to very large hail, and some tornadoes will be possible here, especially centered on the state of Indiana. So we're keeping a very close eye on that heading into the afternoon. Here's the noon hour. We got already showers and storms crossing through the Illinois Valley, so Quincy to Peoria, all the way up there toward Kankakee. We're going to start to see some showers and thunderstorms. One or two of these could be severe already with 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, some quarter or $50 size hail here at midday. Locally heavy downpours as well, so localized flash flooding will be a concern. As this moves further northeast, we're going to see a blossoming of storms into Indiana, up here toward the Chicagoland area, say mid-afternoon, so 2, 3, 4 o'clock. Be watching out for the potential of some severe weather, including tornadoes here. Notice we have some embedded supercells along this leading edge, and that's where some tornadoes could be possible. Those will be moving through Indiana mid-afternoon, and then heading into late afternoon, this pushes up into southern and central Michigan. So Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Lansing, and Detroit, you guys are all in the crosshairs here as we go into the late afternoon hour, 4 to 6 o'clock, and western Ohio, Toledo, Dayton, all the way down to Cincinnati, you guys are included. Stratiform rain on the backside, so Milwaukee to Rockford, Illinois, and Princeton and Chicago. Could be some rumbles of thunder late this afternoon and early this evening. That's just as some rain moves through, maybe additional showers later tonight. Those should not be severe. As far as rainfall is concerned, there will be areas that see quite a bit of rain and some localized flash flooding concerns, especially over urban areas like Chicago or Peoria or even Quincy, Illinois, stretching up there toward Grand Rapids. A lot of pavement there, so a lot of runoff of the water. Could be seeing 1 to 3 inches of rain where the heaviest downpours go. There will also be areas that don't see much, maybe just a quarter, half an inch of rain, but nonetheless, there will be widespread showers and storms across the Midwest, Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley heading through the early morning hours on your Thursday. Speaking of Thursday, we are actually dealing with another risk of severe weather as we go into tomorrow. We have a slight risk of severe weather across the Northeast from Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and eastern New York State, all the way back down into North Carolina here. That is a 2 out of 5 on the risk scale. We have a marginal risk in dark green extending back into Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. And then we have another marginal risk up there into the upper Midwest and northern plains, so the Dakotas, Minnesota, northern Iowa, Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and Michigan. Keeping an eye on that as we go into tomorrow. Main risk is going to be for some damaging winds that we could be seeing 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts here. We also could be seeing some large hail, although again, the instability tomorrow is not going to be super high, so the threat for hail is going to be much lower. And then we still have a low but non-zero tornado threat across the Northeast Mid-Atlantic. Big cities in the crosshairs: New York City into Philly, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., over there into Trenton, New Jersey, Hartford, Connecticut. Those areas, we all are in the crosshairs of at least a low-end chance for tornadoes heading through the day there on Thursday. So here we start Thursday morning. Notice we got some showers and storms crossing through portions of the lower Ohio River Valley into the deep south. We have our main low pressure up here into Ontario. That's going to drive a cold front across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic as we go into tomorrow afternoon. Scattered storm development. Again, this is a type of setup to where not everybody will see severe weather, but those that do could see some damaging winds, large hail, and a couple of tornadoes. Locally heavy downpours are promised as well where those thunderstorms occur. And then as we go into the mid-evening hours, we'll put that threat to bed as the cold front moves off the shore of the East Coast. Back here into the northern plains, upper Midwest, we're watching an impulse of energy, a disturbance over top of our ridge that's going to develop up here into the Dakotas late tomorrow afternoon. This could start to spark some storms. It is a conditional threat there in the Dakotas. It depends on if the cap does break. If the cap breaks, we could be seeing a couple of supercells with some large hail and some damaging winds and a very low tornado risk. It's more after midnight. We start to see this complex or area of concern of storms: Minneapolis, St. Paul, La Crosse, down to Rochester, Minnesota, Waterloo, Iowa to Dubuque. We could be seeing the threat for some locally heavy rainfall and some gusty winds with this. This could take a run at northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin early Friday morning. That remains to be seen. Something we're definitely keeping an eye on. And then speaking of the day on Friday, June 20th, another slight risk of severe weather. We actually could have some pretty significant severe weather on Friday from North Dakota into central and northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and the UP of Michigan. Right now, a slight risk, 2 out of 5 on the risk scale. The Storm Prediction Center has hinted at higher probabilities, so an enhanced risk upgrade may be possible in later outlooks, so make sure to come back to the forecast and monitor that. A lot of instability on Friday. Notice here all the way up into Minnesota, we have instability in the red and purple. That's 3,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram of storm energy. And we have a lot of the wind shear available for some severe weather. So another complex of storms will develop Friday evening. This is what we call an MCS. This is a mesoscale convective system. These typically ride over top of the ridge of high pressure. And this time it's going to be well up to the north, up north towards the U.S.-Canadian border. It's a little bit uncertain, the north-south longitude of this. We're going to keep an eye on this as we go into Friday and night into Saturday morning. Wherever this sets up, this could actually form a derecho risk wherever this sets up, where we could be seeing widespread wind damage of over 80 mile per hour winds. That will be something to keep an eye on. Big ridge of high pressure developing in the central and eastern U.S. heading into this upcoming weekend for Saturday, June 21st and Sunday, June 22nd. And it's promised to actually extend into early next week as well. And we're going to see the ridge of high pressure build further north. So the storm track will be much further north. Notice a pretty formidable trough coming in across the Pacific Northwest going into the weekend. That will drive storm chances further north into the northern plains like the Dakotas, into the upper Midwest and upper Great Lakes region, really into the southern Canadian prairies there. A lot of instability available for this. The reservoir of instability is incredibly widespread here into the central and the eastern U.S., so there will be no short supply of storm energy even as we go into early next week. So those storm complexes, much like we see potentially Friday night, will be continuing as we go into Saturday night, Sunday night, and it'll be a domino effect every day. So severe weather, the magnitude, the location of the severe weather may change as we get closer to this time frame. Something we'll keep an eye on. What is known as a cold front will break down the heat as we go into the middle and late portion of next week. This could bring additional severe weather to the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley further south, like into Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana as we go into the late portion of next week. Now, concerning the ridge as far as temperatures are concerned, our ridge is really going to start to build. It's flat right now late this week, but it's really going to amplify and really center itself into the eastern U.S., maxing out on Monday here, June 23rd, and that's where we're going to really start to see record heat building across the central and eastern U.S. So here are your highs today. It's hot down in the desert Southwest, as you would expect in desert areas. It's 112 in Phoenix, pushing 123 in Death Valley this afternoon. A lot of triple digits in west and southern Texas. Comfortable with the cold front coming through into the upper Midwest into the 70s and 80s. Then here comes the heat. Ridge starting to build in the plains as we go into tomorrow. We see 90s all the way up plumb to North Dakota. And then going into Friday, we have widespread record heat into Nebraska, including the Nebraska Panhandle, eastern Colorado, South Dakota, Kansas. We're all in the triple digits as we go into Friday. Cool in the Northeast. Enjoy it on Friday. We're in the 70s because the heat will be on as we go into Saturday, as we have triple digit heat building into portions of Iowa. And then eventually record heat all the way up into the upper Midwest Great Lakes, places like Minneapolis, Duluth, Marquette, all the way over to Kalamazoo, Michigan. Could be seeing record heat there as we go into the weekend. And it's the heat index, right? Not only just these temperatures you see in the 90s and triple digits, we could be seeing widespread heat index values between 100 and 110. So it's going to be a dangerous brand of heat. Make sure to hydrate next week and take frequent breaks in a shaded and air-conditioned room, especially if you work outdoors. It's going to be multiple days of heat out there, that is for sure. Now let's look here at the fire weather risk in tandem to the heat today. We have an elevated fire weather risk across Washington State and northern Oregon. That spreads a little bit more critical with the red there showing up across eastern Nevada, western Nevada, and also western Utah as we go into tomorrow on Thursday. And then Friday really expands into northern Arizona, western Colorado, and northwest New Mexico with the elevated in the orange and in the red critical fire weather concern. Something to keep an eye on if you are out west. Let's talk about the tropics. We have Hurricane Eric in the East Pacific here. Maximum sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. Moving northwest at 8 miles per hour here is forecast to become a major hurricane upon landfall. There are hurricane warnings up here in red and tropical storm warnings in blue across the southern coastline of Mexico. This is likely to become a formidable tropical system here and a major hurricane, bringing a lot of moisture inland here to southern Mexico. Widespread flash flooding and significant flash flooding looking likely through Friday and going into Saturday. So if you live in southern Mexico or even central Mexico there, make sure you have multiple ways to receive flash flood warnings and alerts, because there could be up to over a foot of rain in this region just going between now and Saturday morning on June 21st. So life-threatening flash flooding will be a possibility there going into that time frame. As far as the Atlantic Basin goes, the Atlantic Ocean in general, the Caribbean and the Gulf, the National Hurricane Center is not expecting any tropical cyclone activity over the next 7 days, something I'll be continuing to keep tabs on as we go through the hurricane season. And finally, your rip current risk for today on June 18th, higher rip current risk across the North Carolina coastline down to South Carolina, from Georgia down into the Jacksonville beach area, especially the Miami-Dade County beach there. We are going to see some moderate to high rip current risks, and then another one up there just into the Florida Panhandle, and then outside Los Angeles again. So again, if you are out there at the beaches, make sure to be mindful of the rip current risk as we go through the rest of this afternoon and evening, and just stay safe out there out on those area beaches. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for the latest accurate, reliable weather information daily here on the channel. We'll provide another forecast again for you tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Like the video, give it a thumbs up. Helps to get all this vital information passed along to more and more people. Share it with a friend, family member on social media. I do really appreciate your support. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, jot them down in the comment section down below. We're here 24/7 to answer any and all questions you may have. Thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day out there.